Hello everybody, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith 1100, our solve count. I think the total number in the game is somewhere between 1100 and 1200 or something. So we've got to be nearing the home stretch, right? We have this 7 left. It's our last one in inequality. And we can see from the board that I have already coloured in from my past visit here that clearly those are all ones. We understand that to be true. So, can I realistically start making some headway into this? Well, we could do some things like this is a 1. Now the danger here is the danger here is if I'd say that this is a 2 and this is a 3 and this is a 4, of course this could be a 3 and a 4 and a 5. So really we just know that it's at most that much, but maybe something else my brain can think about percolating through is what is the longest chain we can find of any of the cells anywhere on the board. So this is, we just do A, B, C, D. What else do we have? We have A, B, C, D. That's going the other way. This is A, B, C, and then this is D and D here. Otherwise, this is A, B, C, D. We know that this has to reach here. Not very bright colours today, is it? Because we know that this can't be a single A either. But I don't immediately see any locations where there's a chain of 5 things. So let's get those back off the board. And let's start interrogating some of the things that we know to be true. Okay, well, if this is 1, this has to be bigger than, so it has to be 2, at least. There you go. So that means this guy here has to be 3 plus at least. Now, for this to go 3 plus, it's either going to have to go this way, or both. But it's ambiguous to definitely one of these two things, which means this has to be 4 plus. Yeah? Are we happy with that so far? I think I am. This has to be 3 plus. It might bend over here. I don't know. If this is going to be 3 plus, this has to be 4 plus. Which means that gets a line, and this is simply a 2. And that is now a fixed entity, which is good. It's progress, and I will take any amount of progress I can get. So the 4 plus must get out. I've never seen so many like brown purples in one of these levels before. Right, we can't know if that's going to be that and that being 3 and 2. Or if it's going to go to there and then this is going to be 5. Or whether this is indeed at all just 4 or something different. So, what else can we know? It's a great question. Okay, well, over here. This is 2 plus. Which means this is 3 plus. Which means this is 4 plus, and this is also 4 plus. Now, the way that's lining up makes it look like it might want to be one of these. But again, that would be right now an assumption, and with so much work ahead of us, I really don't want to be making assumptions now that are going to kick me in the teeth later. But we know those have to be different. What else do we know? It's a great question. Okay, earlier we had intuited that if this is a 1, this has to come out of this edge because it has to be at least a 2. However, what we do know, if this is a 1, then this is 2 plus, which means this is 3 plus, which means this has to come all the way to here. And that means this is then... Oh. This has to be 4 plus, and it's following the same rule for both of these two. So that's fine. Now again, this might be 4 and 5 plus, but until I know more specific things, I can't do too much with that. We do know that since this is 2 plus here, and this goes in a chain of this to this to this, we do know that either this line is true or this line is true. So there's kind of like a fuzzy line here that this cell is either part of the 4 plus or part of the 2 plus. We do know that this 3 plus has to get out to here, and that is part of the same 3 plus region. What else can we know? If this guy here was 2 plus, and this is 3 plus, and this is 4 plus, obviously this could join up over here. Now, I think it has to. Does it have to? Hold on. Let's imagine this was 4 plus up to here, because we know it has to be bigger than the 3. Then if this is 4, this would have to be 5 plus, and this would have to be 6 plus. Is that technically possible? Hello, Goose. Goose the puppy is here. And he's wandered off straight away because I didn't give him attention. 4, 5 plus, 6 plus. Okay. I don't think this can be 6 plus. Oh god, he's got a squeaky toy. Can the microphone hear the squeaky toy? Yes, but he is left with the squeaky toy. This 6 plus, I don't think can be a 6. Because if it picks up this cell, this cell, this cell, this cell, and either of these, then we get into a loop of this has to be smaller than this, has to be smaller than this, but they are the same. And that is also true of if we... hold on. I cannot handle those squeaks while we are having this thought process. I was going to say that if this came over to here instead, we end up in the same problem of going smaller, bigger, biggest, where that can't exist. I'm just trying to imagine a world where Yeah, no, that can't exist in either way. Because if we come up this way to get to 6, we end up in the loop. If we come up this way or anything to get in to 6, this would have to be 7 plus. Would this be one viable area? This would have to be, say that was 2. This would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hypothetically, could be true. Can we get everything below that line to be correct? If that was 2. No. Because this can't be a 7 here. Okay, cool. So we can take from that. But I believe... Oh god, how far back do we go? I believe from that we can deduce that this is not a 4. This would have to be a 3, 4, 5 group. Which would mean that goes to there. Has to get out somehow. You would have to take that edge. And then this is ambiguous onto these. I hope that thought process is correct because I feel like I logicked my way through it. And thus we just kind of have to take what we got now. But I look at all the arrows around here and I go, oh, don't know about that. Don't know about that. If this is a 3, it can't go this way and block that in. You know what? I'm gonna undo to, hold on. This is 3. No, this is, yeah, this is 3 plus, 4 plus, 5 plus, question marks. So we can plow ahead, and if we come up against a very specific piece of friction, we can come back to here. So I think it could be this, this, this. That can't do that and leave a 1, so that has to go up to there. Can this be... This 4 can't touch this because then we'd have a circle. We'd have a loop. It can't go to there because that would be a dead end. It can't do that because that can't be a 1. So that has to get out. This would be a 4 coming out to here. This would be a 5 coming out to here. This thing goes 3, 3, 3. It would have to be 4. If this takes this... Oh, God. That could be 4. This is now stuck at 5. I don't think this works out. This is 4. This needs to be bigger than 4. Oh, does this work out? If this whole bottom half of the puzzle solves like this, I have good hope for the future. This is now 5. This is a 4. 4 into 5. 2 into 3. This could be a 4. I could start erasing stuff that I no longer need, because we can just undo through the erasing, although it just makes more of an undo queue, but how much does that matter to me right now? Okay, what's next? What's next without just going off vibes? It's a great question. This is either a 3 or a 4. It can't go out over. So that might exist. This is inherently linked to this. Okay, so this can't be a 3, because then this has to be bigger than that. But if we do that, then these two end up in a loop. So I think that tells me this is 2, this is 3. Oh, not sure about that, though. There is a world where this could be a 1. Could be a 1 into a 2. Into a 5. And then this has to make a 6 somehow. But it can't go through there. And that's where I'm really, I think, lost. Because this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't do that. Can't do that. Okay, we've gone wrong somewhere. Do I dare check progress on this just to see if where we are now is at all in good stead? Alright, there's a mistake somewhere. If we peel back to here. Oh, okay. Alright, I take solace in knowing that I haven't completely balked the opening of the puzzle. And you know what? I don't mind using the check progress here. I wish there was a difference between the check progress button and the reveal a mistake button, because I don't want to be told what's wrong. I just want to know that I'm on the right track. And right now we're on the right track. So we screwed up here somewhere. Is there anywhere else we can kind of try and find a line? This is 3, this is 4, this is 5. This 5 can't get any bigger. Actually, we can draw lines around those. These might still evolve larger, but let's do... Right, so we got 1, 2, 5, 4. This is 3. This is 4. It's got to be either this, which can't go cyclically into this, into that, or this, which would be 4 here. That would mean this would need to be... No, we can't do that because this is 5. This is less than 5. 4, 3. Is this 2? I have it as 3 plus question mark. But we... I can't remember if I checked progress with this filled in or not. I'm not going to keep spamming check progress right now. Do. There's 1, this is 3, 4, 5. So it's either got to be 2, 3, 2, 4, or 3, 4. But how do we get the 4th tile? Because we can't do that doing a loop with ourselves. And we can't do this doing a loop with ourselves, right? There's nowhere that this can be 4, so maybe this is 3 and 2? But, yeah, there's a mistake. And now we're back to having a mistake, and I don't know where that mistake is. Oh god, okay. How far back do I have to go to get that mistake fixed? Alright, everything's correct here. And this doesn't change. Huh? What? There's a mistake now. That, I don't even understand how that works. How putting a line around this makes a mistake. I hate that so much. How does putting a line around it introduce a mistake? Alright, best guess is that this is true. Because all of these point to an area that is bigger. And so we can just have this zone be massive. And it's the only way we can progress. Because I naively thought that if I had 2 areas of different colours that were butting up against each other, that it was kind of implied that the line was there for the purposes of identifying a mistake or not. But clearly that's not true. Now I've gained a bit of information in a way that I don't love. So if we take this back to here where we know this is correct, I know that this can't be true and this can't be true. So that has to be a 3, that has to be a 2. No. Because this is at least 3 long. What? How does this not be a 1? Is it that? It can't be that. Because this can't make a loop going around here. I'm so lost on that one now. Can I find a different thread to pull, please? Alright, so I'm still happy with the notion that this can't go and this can't go. Because if this is 4, this becomes 5, this becomes 6, that doesn't work. Although, I now know that this might be a giant region, but I only know it through knowledge of the fruit of the tainted tree, whatever fruit from the forbidden taint. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that can't be used in crime because it was gotten without a warrant. You know what I mean? Fruit of the forbidden tree. I can't believe I just said fruit of the forbidden taint. Okay. This has to get out. It can't do this because this 3 can't be bigger and then bigger onto itself. So that leaves this at a 2 or a 3, I think. Because it can't go back that way and it can't take on this. But I don't know if it is a 2 or a 3. Where else can I find any piece of knowledge that isn't just the idea of this? Come on, brain. You can do it. This can't be a 1. Has to come down. And this cannot do this if this is a 3. Is there ever a world where this is a 2? Why do I have 3 plus question mark? Because we did something with this loop earlier. This is a 2, this is a 3, this is a 4. Catches up to that 4. That would be fine. But we also know from our check progress that this is correct. So I think that has to be true. If this is a 1, this is a 2. This has to be 3. Can't do that. So I think this is true. Which means this has to be 4. Hold on. And if this is 4, this has to be bigger. This has to be 5, and this has to be 6. And that is where we can get knowledge that this is actually going to be bigger than the 5 that we have, and perhaps picks this up because these are all greater thans pointing at the same region. So let's continue under the assumption that this is correct. Now, this can't turn the corner. So this is 4. This needs to be a 5. Or 5 plus, even. And then this is 6 plus. If this came to here as a 4, this is actually a 9 plus. Let's make that clear because it might take on this tile still. That's ambiguous in the corner. But this is now just a 4. So this is either a 5, 6, 7, or 8. This cannot do that, so that gets a line. This can't be 1. So it has to be at least 2. 2 is bigger than 3 is bigger than 2. This can't be any larger than it already is. This can't be 1. Has to be at least 2. 2, 3 into 4. This could be a 1 and a 1 and a 1, which is very interesting. I don't hate that notion, but I'm not going to put the lines in. I'm just going to kind of color it funkily. Give it a little one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. This seems best, because this means I then have to make something even bigger than it. So if we come to here as a 5, this would have to be a 6, which it can't. Hold on. Because of the shape of these diagonals, this can't be bigger than this, which is a problem for me. Oh no. What? What? Everything entered so far is correct. How are we going to get out of this pickle then? I was so sure something wasn't going to work. If this has to be, if this is 4, this has to be 5, 6, 7, or 8. That means this has to be... Oh. If that did that for 5, that could do that for 6. That gets the 2. Hold on, are we right there? This has to be less than 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I do my 3 1s at the end here? Well, we might have leaned on check progress a little bit during that puzzle. I don't deny it. But I also feel like, apart from this section being humongous, which I probably wouldn't have gotten without the mistake I made, the rest of it I think I did pretty well on. And I hope you enjoyed the solve. Obviously, how much you enjoy it might be deeply correlated with how much I use the check progress button, but I think I did a good job, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. And gems. Honestly, I remember looking at that puzzle the first time and just being completely overwhelmed, so nice to be able to sit down and chew through it. And then over here, 96% of those, 90% of those, 64% of these. There's the 1 rose that I know about, and then we've got 6 solitudes and 2 matches. The 2 matches I know about and are horrendous. I don't know about the solitudes. We'll have to give those a look next, perhaps. And then we've just got the trickier end of the bottom row for now. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.